Hello everybody, my name is Bulbastorm, here to introduce you guys to my new team. We have joined the SDA Latios Beta Division, which is a fully upload league, so we're going to be a bunch of content creators, including multiple friends of the channel, such as Mystical Leafeon and Twisted Games. So I'm super excited to get in here and get going and see how our season goes. First and foremost, let's get this team introduced. Here we are. With our first pick, we took DARKRAI. Now, not to overthink it, DARKRAI is a very heavy hitter, special attacking Pokemon, and most importantly, a base 125 speed tier. I knew coming into this draft that I wanted to lead it off with a fast Pokemon because the value down the board with the speed tiers to me wasn't ideal, especially with my draft pick. I was number 10, so I did have anywhere from 16 to 20 picks between my next pick. So I knew that in order for me to get the team that I kind of wanted the most, which was a speed tier at the top and then a hazard removal in the second round, I had to go with DARKRAI early. It was either DARKRAI or Tornadus Terrian, and to me, DARKRAI just has better sweeper value, and if you know how I play Pokemon, DARKRAI fits that to a T. So DARKRAI is going to be known as Isagi on my team, better known as the Demon King. So I am super thrilled to have been able to pick DARKRAI at my pick. I've never been able to use it before, and it is definitely going to be the spearhead of my late game antics, and I'm super ready to see how it goes. Alright, with our second round pick, we did end up grabbing our spinner. We picked Iron Treads Up. I am super happy that it fell to me, as I was looking at the high-end spinners, and this was the last one that was left in my opinion. Tusk was gone, obviously, in the first round. Terapagos got drafted, I believe, at the end of the first round as well. So this is the last high-end spinner on the board. It happened to be the one that I kind of had my eye on anyways. I like Treads a lot because of the speed tier. It's base 106. And if you know my battle style, I'm pretty hyper-offensive. So being able to combine a good speed tier with a rapid spinner to get that speed boost, along with having pretty good offensive stats in general, I am super happy that Iron Treads fell to me. Like I said, I believe it fits my playstyle essentially to a T, and besides that, it's really just a strong steel type, and especially on this SDA board, to me the value wasn't down the board in steel types. You had to strike early or you're going to be stuck overpaying for something like Registeel in the late rounds, which I simply didn't have any interest in doing. So being able to get that steel type as well as my main spinner done really early, to me that's a big win, and I could not pass up taking Iron Treads in this spot. In the third round, I selected Iron Hands. Now Iron Hands to me is one of the best lower speed tier mons, and knowing my style of play, I love my slow pivot mons. In Iron Hands, even though its Volt Switch isn't doing too much damage, it is always a threat to hit Volt Switch and get off the field. Besides that, it's going to be running standard sets such as Assault Vest, maybe the Shuka Berry, or the Psychic Resist Berry, maybe the Fairy Resist Berry also. But to me, its best role is going to be just coming in and clicking Drain Punch or any of the elemental punches, maybe a close combat on any given week, and just wrecking havoc among the lower speed tiers. So for me, it was super important to get a lower speed tier attacker, and then like I said earlier, this mon just so happened to be a pivot mon, so that's why I took it. And now Iron Hands could have been my Terra Captain, but I decided against it for the time being. So maybe later in the season, if the combination isn't working, I might put Terra on it. But for now, it is not my Terra Captain. It is going to be a very low speed threat. It's going to take hits and it's going to dish them out. And you'll see later on, we may have a Trick Room mode. So, it really kind of fits the core of how I battle. So being able to add that to a team that already has a DARKRAI and that already has a good removal mon and Shreds, I think it just fits very well, and I'm excited to see how it goes. My fourth round pick in this draft was Alomola, otherwise known as the Wish Fish. I have actually enjoyed using a bulky for alligator so much in Josh League that I decided that I was going to pick Alomola no matter what, as long as it fell to the 4th round. So the picks before this were definitely had in mind that I did want to take Alomola with this pick. It's just going to be a bulky pivot, man. That's all it is. Regenerator, bulky pivot, rocky helmet, maybe assault vest. Probably not assault vest. But the Wish Fish does its job. It takes hits. It's going to die probably almost every battle. But you know what? It does its job well. Its job is, it's going to hit Flip Turn. It's going to hit Scald. It's going to hit Mirror Coat. It's going to hit Wish. And it has a couple more moves, but let's be honest. Its role is going to be Rocky Helmet or Boots every week, and then you kind of just run with it. And you let it do its role of just flip turning and taking whatever small damage you can get with it. This one's very straightforward. I'm not going to over elaborate on why I picked it. It's just a nuisance for my opponents to prep for, and on my team that has been kind of a bulky attacking team so far, this just adds a real wall onto the mix. Alright, so my 5th pick in this draft did end up being Terra Salamence. Salamence to me is just a fun mon to use. I knew coming into this draft that I wanted my main Terramon to be a sweeper, and Salamence does that. It has 2 of the best abilities of the game, in Moxie and Intimidate, then it's a base 100 speed tier, and then with the Terra type, a Dragon Dance is much more viable on any given week. I want this mon specifically just because I've had so much fun building with it with my friends in the past. Shout out Mr. G and Josh, the Starter Supremes. They have built with it very well in the past, and I've had fun helping them in that case. So there are plenty of different ways I can bring Salamence. It can be physical, it can be special, not likely, but it can be special. It's a good speed tier, and it's going to be a sweeper mon. That's what I need it for. My play style kind of revolves around having sweepers, and then besides having one sweeper, you have an in-game specialist. So being able to combine Salamence with a Darkrai, in my opinion, it really fits my play style. So I am super excited to use the Salamence. It was on my list of Pokemon that I wanted to draft before the end of Generation 9 Draft League. So being able to take that one off the list and have it fit this team in a way that I think is pretty cool, because it can be a defensive Terra any week, it can be an offensive Terra any week, and it wouldn't be surprising. In this league, our Terra captains are completely open week to week, so we are able to go with any Terra type on any given week as long as we declare it before the battle. So I can have a Terra Fairy Salamence one week and a Terra Poison the next week. There's unlimited possibilities there, and I'm going to be able to figure out exactly the typing that I need in order to maximize this mon on a weekly basis. And yeah, I'm just super excited to build around this mon and have it on my side for once, because I've played against it when it was on Josh's team, and I've played against it a couple times in the past before that. So being able to kind of use this mon and see how it goes in my hands, I'm super excited for it. Alright, our next Pokemon is going to be Ogerpon Heartflame. So Heartflame was actually like my 8th round pick, but I did make quite a bit of changes in Grace, so you'll see how everything kind of shook out at the end of this. This is the last Pokemon that I actually drafted. And Ogerpon, to me, it fits my types perfectly. I needed a Grass type, I needed a Fire type, and I wanted a 110 speed tier. It's also a U-turn bot potentially. I do also have a good removal Pokemon in Iron Shreds, so that kind of helps assist Ogerpon to doing its best role. You're just going to see me hitting a lot of Ivy Cudgels, some Spikes, some Knockoffs, some U-Turn, maybe some High Horsepower, some Horn Leech, all of that stuff. This mon's going to be used how it's used. Everyone knows that Ogerpon Heartflame is a big attacker, and that's how I intend to use it the most. It's just going to be one of my main physical attackers, in the sense that I really only have Iron Hands and Salamence on this team as the physical attackers. So it's going to have a role potentially any given week to come and be able to just do big damage. So I'm super excited to see how Ogerpon Heartflame goes. I've actually never been able to draft it, so I'm excited to use this mon. It should be a big addition. The next member of the Seattle Storm this season is going to be Terra Hatterene. So I kind of alluded earlier, I am super excited for a Trick Room mode on this team, specifically the synergy with Iron Hands and even potentially Olomola. There's kind of a bit of synergy there. And then Iron Hands in general just needs a bulky fairy type next to it. So I made sure that I got one of the most bulky ones. And the Trick Room team is very, very real for me. I think it's a real possibility to come on any given week. And honestly, Hatterene is a great Pokemon in general. It's just going to be a bulkier mon, and then it can hit very, very hard Moonblast back. And then being a Terra type, I can do a defensive Terra any given week. Also, it has great utility in the light screens as well as Nuzzle. And I believe it also gets Taunt. So it does have quite a bit of util on its side. And I think it fits the core very well. And like I said, that Trick Room core is really what I was looking for at the bottom half of this roster. So my opponent has to prep for the top end and the bottom end and make sure that they are ready for any team that I could run. So this is, in my opinion, one of the better value mons in this draft. It was only 11 points for a Terra Hatterene. So I think it very well fits kind of what I'm doing, and it was a no-brainer in Grace when I saw it was available. The next Pokemon that is going to be joining our team this season is going to be Glimmora. So Glimmora was actually on the list of Pokemon that I really wanted, and it was taken 2 picks ahead of me in the actual draft. And then unfortunately, whoever drafted it did drop it in Grace. So me and the team, we decided no reason not to go pick up this good Pokemon. Have a secondary removal mon. Glimmora and Hatterene are always a good combo too. You've seen it a lot, you've heard it a lot. So there's just so much80 in a Glimmora, as well as just being a super heavy hitting special mon. Its base 130 special attack is really nice. 85 base speed goes a good way. It fits my speed tiers very well, and honestly, it was just too good of a Pokemon to pass up in Grace. The plan was always kind of to use it and have it, and you know, this is a very good setter as well. T-spikes, rocks. I mean, it does everything you would need. So this combined with the Iron Treads, I do have a hazard-based team, and that's something that I really like. And then the Hatterene also, the Magic Bounce makes it to where teams are not as concerned about, you know, setting hazards against me. So I have 3 very good forms of removal in those 3 mons, and I don't know, I think it's just a very natural fit. I wanted a good poison type, and I was pretty disappointed when this was taken in front of me. So being able to use it and have it on my team for the season, I very much enjoy it. Our second and last Pokemon is going to be Terra Mischievous. So this is simply a 2-point mon. In my opinion, it was the best of the 2-point mons because it is a good spin blocker. And with Terra and its speed tier, it can actually do a little bit of damage. So it's going to be likely something like Terra Electric, maybe Terra Ghost most weeks. If it does come, just to be that spin blocker that ends up being the biggest nuisance for my opponent possible. This mon also gets Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Taunt, some of those moves that you need to win games in some specific circumstances. Now, I don't envision Mischievous coming very often at all, but it definitely is a valuable member of any team with that spin blocking ability. And then always just being able to fire off Shadow Balls if the opponent doesn't have a good Ghost Resist. There's a big plus in this Pokemon. The final mon on our team for this season of SDA is going to be Leavanny. So Leavanny was a 3-point mon that actually fit my speed tiers very well at base speed 92. It also has a sneaky 103 attack, but the way it's going to be utilized the most for my team is going to be with its move Sticky Webs. Sticky Webs really helps with the bottom of my speed tiers. I don't have amazing speed tiers in the 80s range, so being able to have a mon that can come in and kind of, you know, help with that would be nice. Also, this opens up Ogerpon sweeps. It's more likely that Ogerpon's going to be able to do something with Sticky Webs up on the other side in general. Leavanny also has some other good util moves such as Knock Off, Baton Pass, and Switcheroo. But the way it's going to be utilized is going to be sticky web, knockoff, maybe a grass move, and you kind of just figure it out from there. Here is our team in totality. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this draft analysis. Please stick around for the season. It's going to be dropping every week on my channel, likely Fridays. I want to say a special shout out to some guys who helped me with the draft, including Twisted Games and Zach Mander. And then keep an eye out. I'm going to be playing Twisted Games week 1. So let's get it, guys.